This video will cover checking spelling and grammar and finding and replacing text. First off, Microsoft Word does a fairly decent job of checking to see if words are in the dictionary. This can cause some real problems. Just because a word is in the dictionary does not necessarily mean that it is the right word to use. Consider two words perhaps separated only by one letter, public and pubic. And as far as word is concerned, it doesn't care. The word is in the dictionary. It will not alert you to the word. So when a word is not spelled according to the dictionary, it will show a little wavy red line underneath the word, and a right click will give possibilities. Now, there's some things here that I want to mention. First off, if this was some sort of a strange technical word that you were going to be using in your major over and over, you would probably want to add it to the dictionary. Be very cautious of that. If you add a word that is misspelled, every time you misspell it, the dictionary will tell you it's spelled right, and every time you spell it right, the dictionary will tell you it's wrong. So before I ever add a word to my dictionary, I want to make very certain that I look it up first. So that one comes in. As I take a look here at this, I have a repeated double word. That word picks up and makes that easy to take care of. Here I have again another problem with spelling. And there are other problems here that show up with green squiggly lines underneath. So this one says, there's extra spaces. So I can fix that. I can do the same thing here. Although this one gets a little bit strange because you'll receive an email. That works, but it doesn't quite match the dictionary. So this one I would tell that I wanted to ignore. And one more here. This one should not be the possessive there. It should be the there is. And that one changes. Now I'm going to undo these real quick and show another method of making changes. If I go to the Tools menu and select Spelling and Grammar, I get this box where there are a few additional things that show up. I can, of course, do all the changes here just like before, but if I click the Options button, there's some things that will show up. First, if you really want to mess somebody up, sneak onto their document and hide spelling errors in the document. That means no spelling errors appear. That one's pretty tough. As a college student, I like to show the readability statistics. And you'll see what that looks like in just a minute, but I've got different settings how I can set this up. So I'll set this for casual and click on OK to set those options. The check grammar is here. I'll fix this. You can purchase, orders, and please let me know if there. And I really like the way this shows up in the full sentence to let you see what's happening a little bit better. It starts over at the top. I can delete the second word. And now what this little thing shows up is the number of words, how many characters, paragraphs, and sentences. But it also talks about the complexity of the document. And the Fleisch-Kincaid grade level came out in about 1910 or 1920 when language was much more formal. This document would appear as a 6th grade document. It's a lot better than that. And most standard business documents today come out at about 6 to 7. When I did my master's thesis and ran the Fleisch-Kincaid grade level test on it, it showed 10th grade level. So it's just an interesting thing to say, where does this fall? If you're writing college level documents and they're not at least in the 6 to 8 range, you should probably take a look again and say, well, how many words do I have per sentence? How many characters per word? And take a look at the possibility of increasing your vocabulary, I think is the right term there. Now, we also have the ability to look at changing and replacing things. If I come to the Edit menu and select Replace, just for the fun of it, I've got this that comes up, and I could say you can, I want to look at this document and say I want to find build and replace it with create. Not necessarily a great system, but something that I could say and it would go look for it. And here it found the first instance of the word, and I can hit replace. And I could then go to the next one and replace, or I could just replace all. Not a bad little way to go. It's a very handy thing for making changes. Now, a couple other things I want to point out with this. First is the replace options, and this little drop down right here makes that happen. We've got the ability to first match case. If I had set this one up with match case, it would not have found any of these words build because they had a capital. Find whole words only is a really important one. If I want to go through a big document and replace the word man with the word person, I'd get in big trouble if this wasn't here because it would change things like management to personagement, manufacturing to person-ufacturing. Kind of strange. Wildcards will let me search for words without knowing all the letters. So if, for instance, I was looking for Catherine, and I knew that it was spelled get this deleted. I'm going to put a question mark here instead of the first C. And I'm going to replace it with Kate. And this would find Catherine with a K or Catherine with a C. If I had used an asterisk instead of the question mark, instead of replacing a single character, it would replace any number of characters. Sounds like seesaw, 222, 444, all word forms finds past, present, and future tenses on verbs. So just some additional options there on finding and replacing.